We're at the KTM Adventure Rally in Goa. This is the first time that KTM is doing it in our country, and they have brought an absolute legend. I don't need to introduce him. Chris Birch is here with us. Chris, it's a pleasure to meet you. And I want to start off, and I don't mean this in a flattering way or anything. I think that you and Paul Tares have done more for the adventure biking world than anyone since Ewan McGregor.
Okay.
We've grown up watching your videos for the last 10, 15 years. You've blown our minds and you've taught us to love adventure bikes. Why don't we tell our viewers today what your story is? How did you get into this space where you became this KTM ambassador, and how far back does it go?
So for me, motorcycling goes all the way back.
Okay.
I grew up in a motorcycling family. I don't remember learning to ride a motorbike. It's just always part of my life. And I got into adventure bike riding basically as a way I wanted to show my wife some of the places that the racing had taken me and explore New Zealand. And I'd been to all these incredible places and telling her all these stories. Okay, now I need to show you.
Right.
And bought an old second-hand adventure bike and started traveling
around. At what
around.
point was this? What sort of year was this?
I was married, so it must have been mid to late 20s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And just started exploring more, and then I got my first KTM adventure bike because a near accident. A car pulled out in front of me, and the bike I was on, the brakes weren't very good, and I'm just pulling on the brakes, and the bike's slowly decelerating. I thought, okay, if we're going to do any more of this, we need a bike with some proper brakes, and that turned into a KTM 950.
Okay.
And started playing around with that, and was just really, really enjoyed it. And then the KTM 1190 came out back in the days, and we did some fun promotional videos for that in New Zealand. Very zero budget, just having some fun, and that kind of blew up and went all around.
I
the world.
remember it blowing up. All of us sitting in the office and having our minds blown by that video.
Yeah.
And then we'd really look out for the next Chris Birch video and the next KTM video and what sort of madness you do. And I clearly remember this one drift shot of you nearly on the edge of a sort of cliff, and the rear wheel is almost going off, and there's this plume of dust coming up. So yeah, you've done a lot for the community, is what I'm trying to say. But were you racing for KTM at this point?
I was, yeah. So I started off just riding with my family and just trail riding and exploring with the family. We used to go for family motorcycle rides.
Okay.
So I would have been maybe 5 years old, sitting on the tank with my father, and my mother would be riding her motorcycle with my sister in a backpack. She would have been about 3, and we'd go all through the mountains for the whole day, and then got into riding trials, trials competitions. Then moved into enduro, got a little disillusioned with enduro, and just as I kind of started to think, oh, maybe this is not for me, I discovered the sport of extreme enduro or hard enduro, and that was this is for me, and had some quite good success with that initially, and then was able to kind of turn that into a career.
Wow.
So whilst riding motorcycles my whole life, I really only became a professional motorcycle rider at the age of 31.
Which is really the other way from what normally happens.
So before then it was everything in my life for sure, but I was still having to work full time to support it.
Yeah.
In New Zealand, there's not a huge amount of support for racing. It's a small country, a long way away from the motorcycle community. So there was working normal job and then racing at the weekends, and then trying to find ways to earn money to go and race overseas.
So has your favorite form of motorcycling evolved through the years? I mean, you've done Red Bull Romaniacs quite a few times, which you were telling me you love.
Yeah.
You've done the Dakar, which is up there and really difficult. And you must have had an insane time there as well.
It was an experience, yeah.
But you did well, and it was your first time. And
it was a huge learning curve. To be honest, I think the thing I learned the most was that desert racing is not really for me. But I was very fortunate that I got a good result, and I was able to basically mentally tick the box. Okay, I've done Dakar. I did as well as I could possibly do in the situation that I was in, and I finished first time, which meant I didn't have to go back.
Yeah, and you're the most successful Kiwi to date. At the Dakar.
Yeah. So I finished 27th with a broken ankle. So there was.
Yeah, that's crazy. I can't imagine that.
Yeah, the last 2 days weren't so much fun.
Wow. But, yeah, you guys are something else. So what is your favorite form of motorcycling today, and has it evolved over the years?
It has evolved, and it evolves every year. For me, a huge. I'm so fortunate that I just love riding motorcycles in general. And most of the time, the motorcycle I've just got off is my favorite motorcycle. So I genuinely love the adventure riding. I also love getting back on my trials bikes and going back to my roots. I love riding mountain bikes. I love the enduro. I love the hard enduro. I don't really have a favorite. It's just anything with two wheels. Just it does it for me. Everything except street riding, to be honest.
So you just want to get that out of the way and get to the fun locations.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you make of the way adventure motorcycling has evolved? Because you've come from a time of really analog, down-to-earth motorcycling. And today we have these crazy capable things with 8 levels of slide control and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about that, I mean, the way it's going?
I like it. Like, I know there's a lot of vocal minority, like very against rider aids, and but motorcycles should be analog. And personally, I disagree. I think a lot of the rider aids that we have now are very beneficial. They're making genuine impacts on rider safety, and that can only be a good thing. Like I know, I'm thinking of one particular situation in my head right now where the lean angle sensitivity, the MT motorcycle traction control, all those rider aids save my ass. And as a very, very experienced rider, I 100% would have crashed my bike on the street in that situation, and it would have been really bad. And I came out of that going, that was all the bike. I think some of the earlier systems, like the earlier ABS and that sort of thing, were really bad.
Yeah.
And that created a mindset that maybe some of these things are not for off-road, but the current systems that we have, the level of technology is so high, they're adding to the ride. They're not distracting from the ride. You're still 100% in the moment, in the experience, and these things are just happening in the background and making it safer and making it more accessible to riders.
I fully agree with you. I have a different perspective. You are a racer. You are in the mindset of breaking things and fixing them in your body. People like me aren't. I don't like hurting myself.
No, me
and
neither.
And to get to a skill level like you guys, you need to hurt yourself. But bikes like this let you get away with things that you would have had to learn the hard way.
Yeah.
With traction control and lean sensitive things like that. I mean, on the racetrack or even off-road.
So where I like the most where all these systems are going now is they're not a distraction, they're an addition to the experience. That you should not be riding along going, oh wow, this traction control is working really well.
Yeah.
Or oh, well done ABS. It should just be happening in the background and you're immersed in the experience and it's adding to the experience, not distracting you.
All right. I want to ask you what your, I know maybe advice isn't the right word, but what would you say to the Indian adventure rider? It's a new thing for us, maybe in the last 10 years. Started off particularly with bikes like the Royal Enfield Himalayan, and now the KTMs are a big deal. And so we've come into adventure riding a very different way to what Europe and New Zealand have come. And you guys started with dirt bikes, and that's how we're riding, and then went to adventure bikes.
Yeah.
So we're going from street bikes and from a more of a touring perspective. How do you think we should look at adventure riding? What is adventure riding?
That's a really tough question to ask. Like, what is adventure riding? Like, adventure riding it's whatever it is to you as the individual. For some guys, it's going for a back road cruise to a coffee shop on the weekend and coming back a couple of hours. Like, if that's adventure riding, if you happy days, you go experience your bike any way that you want to experience it. The other end of it is some guys treat the adventure bike like a full enduro bike, and they're not happy unless they're smashing into rocks and in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
But it's the full spectrum is absolutely okay. It's however you want to enjoy your adventure bike is good for that. I think India has real potential for true adventure. Like, you have a huge variety of terrain. It's a big country with a lot of accessibility, and that's a really cool thing. You have your Himalayas, you have the amazing terrain around here. There's so much to explore and so much to do on these adventure bikes, and it's almost like custom designed for your terrain and the situation you have.
Well, awesome, and I'm really glad that you're doing this with us. It's going to be very memorable for everyone here that you're riding with us and maybe teaching us a little bit.
Yeah,
so it'll be good fun, and I hope you get to spend some more time in India and maybe do up north and down south.
Yeah, I think this is just the reconnaissance mission. Yeah, and it's I've had only heard good things about Goa in this region, and it's been above expectations already.
Lovely. Thank you so much, Chris, for talking to us.
Thank you.
I'm really looking forward to riding with you.